sports fans. Welcome into a new episode of the Leaderboard here on WTOL 11+. As always, I'm Noelle Blumel.
I'm Dan Cummins in for Tyler Seigerman once again. I had so much fun last week. I'm coming back for another time.
Well, Dan, we're happy to have you, and just get ready because this week we're talking celebrities. From your good pal Jim Leyland to Eddie George and even Muddy and Madonna Mudhead. This week is jam-packed full of stars.
Just like you said, Noelle, this week we're talking with legendary baseball coach and Hall of Famer Jim Leyland. Plus, we hear from a former ABA basketball player who still lives right here in the Glass City. Then, Noelle?
Then we'll talk about one local college where athletes are concerned for their future and another local school that's adding sports to the fold. Also, our top 11 of the week, parents shout out, and so much more. Let's jump right in.
This week on the Leaderboard, we're catching up with a true baseball legend who never forgot where it all began. Jim Leyland is a World Series champion, a three-time Manager of the Year, and now a member of the Baseball Hall of Fame. But before the big leagues and bright lights, he was just a kid in Perrysburg, Ohio, chasing fly balls and dreams. Hear what the 80-year-old has to say about the impact right here in Northwest Ohio, what it had in his career.
I was a bat boy for the local Perrysburg Merchant team, who had a real good team. In fact, won the state championship in 1955.
Jim Leyland's baseball story began in Northwest Ohio, where weekends meant ball games, and every kid dreamed of taking the field.
Like a lot of kids, I played Little League and Pony League and church ball and everything. So it was just but it was a much smaller town then. You know, there was probably 5,500 people when I grew up here. But great place to grow up in.
For Leyland, the love of the game began at home.
My dad was, played obviously when he was younger and was a pretty good player. He was a pitcher, and he spent a lot of time hitting us balls in the backyard, my brothers and me, and so I think my dad was probably the biggest influence as far as my start.
Perrysburg may have been a small town back then, but it laid the foundation for a big future. Leyland would go on to spend over 20 years managing in the major leagues, including a World Series title with the Florida Marlins in 1997 and leading the Tigers to 2 American League pennants. And in 2023, the kid from Perrysburg earned a permanent spot in Cooperstown.
You're not looking for any notoriety. I don't care about any of that stuff.
Despite the accolades, Leyland never strayed too far from home. He still visits Toledo, especially when the Mudhens are in town.
It's a beautiful ballpark. When I managed the Tigers, I loved it because, if somebody got hurt during batting practice or something up in Detroit, if the Mudhens were home, they could be up there within an hour to have a player right there for you. Toledo baseball's been going on a long time. I can remember when they used to play baseball at Swain Field out on Monroe Street years ago. It just brings back a lot of memories.
And even if he's not back in Perrysburg as often as he used to be, the connection is still very strong.
You never forget the place you grew up in, and I still have family members there. It's just been a nice marriage between myself and Perrysburg.
That connection led to a major gift when Perrysburg built its new high school field. Leyland made a donation, but asked for the name to reflect more than just him.
I didn't want it just my name. I wanted it in the Leyland family name because I've got brothers and sisters been here all their lives, and so I looked at it more like that. And it's not about Jim Leyland; it was about the Leyland family.
From bat boy to big leagues to baseball immortality, Jim Leyland's journey proves you can go anywhere and still carry home with you. A Hall of Famer with small-town roots and a legacy that began in Perrysburg. Now, when we caught up with Leyland this week, he was actually in Toledo watching the Mudhens play ball, a true baseball lifer. Now, I've got 3 stories for you. I guess we got some time there, Noelle?
Oh, absolutely.
First time I met Jim was in '82. He'd just been hired to be third base coach for the White Sox. And Gary Sensenstein and I went down to spring training and met him, just introduced ourselves. Hey, we're from Toledo. Oh, he's very friendly. And he wore a wireless mic. And a wireless microphone in 1982 wasn't very good, but he wore it for us in third base, and you'd hear his conversations with the players and so forth. Tony La Russa was the manager of the White Sox then. Okay. In 1997, he's manager of the Marlins, and they're in the World Series game against Cleveland. In Cleveland, and I'm doing live shots, and I need a live shot, and I would love to talk to Jim live. Well, there's no BP because it's like November, the snow is coming down. I sent my business card in with the door guy. Jim got the card, came out and actually did the interview with me there. And another time he was Tiger manager there in about maybe '09, somewhere in there. And we got there late at spring training because our flight got in late. We get to the ballpark at 5 minutes to 1 o'clock, right before the game starts. And Jim made time to talk to us and do a spring training interview right as the game was almost starting there in the dugout.
Anything for good old Danny boy. I love to hear
There we go. Always got time for you, Danny. Always got time for you. Yeah.
That's awesome. Great guy. Hopefully I get to meet him one day. Imagine after years of hard work and practice, you get the opportunity to play your sport in college. You're feeling accomplished, grateful, and excited for the next chapter. But suddenly, your school announces it's shutting down. That's the reality for athletes at Siena Heights University, who for the next 12 months will be searching for their next step instead of focusing on the season ahead.
I mean, this was just instant. Like, there was no warning or no even like an idea of it coming. It just happened.
105 years of academics coming to a screeching halt, and athletic careers of those who chose to be a saint.
I was planning on doing all 4 years at Siena and, giving them everything I have. It's scary not knowing, what my future holds.
Athletes committed to play at the college level, back to square one, looking for a new place to call home.
I mean, I was stunned. I was panicked. I was like a sense of urge to figure out what's going on. I mean, football not coming on next year is kind of a big deal because I go to school for football. So, I mean, it's just a big sense of urgency and figure out what I'm going to do after that.
It definitely makes me feel like I made the wrong decision in the first place, back to step one. But it happens. It's all happens for a reason, so we'll see where it takes me.
The news broke less than 2 months before the first day of class, leaving some athletes no choice but to band together.
The team seems to respond with it as like there's nothing to lose, and we're going to play our hearts out and do our best, hopefully go into the season and just do the best we can.
Especially for us, we're going to have that thought like, hey, this is our last year playing for, playing under Siena. I think that's really going to help us kind of push through like, hey, we're not going to be here next year. Let's send this university and the school out on a good note.
But every decision moving forward will now be part of a plan to persevere.
I'm going to do everything that I've done in the past years. I'm going to work my hardest, try my best, hopefully get some play film to be able to show other coaches and be able to continue my college football career.
All those with women's lacrosse players, and I mean, it's not that big of a sport, especially in this area. So to see that opportunity, especially close to Toledo, go away, it's definitely heartbreaking. Moving forward, I hope to have obviously a better opportunity.
And as mentioned, the first day of classes for the upcoming school year is on August 25th, leaving most fall sport athletes no choice but to finish out their season. But some of them told me there's added motivation to create a highlight reel for recruitment for other schools and send the university out on a high note.
From sprinting in the sand to spike ball showdowns, we're counting down the top beach sports ruling the summer. From the fast, the fun, and just plain sandy, find out what made the list.
When it comes to summer swimming, everyone's got a go-to move, but which stroke rules the pool? We asked, you voted, and the results just might surprise you. That's coming up next on the Leaderboard. Well, the sun's out, the sand's hot, the blisters on my
sun's
feet.
out, guns out.
Sun's out, guns out.
Sorry.
Yes, Dan. That's right, Dan. But so is the competition. This week on the Leaderboard, we're heading to the beach, not just to relax, but to play.
That's right. We're highlighting the games bringing the energy, the rivalries, even the wipeouts. Let's count down the top 11 modern beach sports, the ones everyone's diving into this summer. Number 11, beach tug-of-war. Sure, it's a throwback, but still one of the most entertaining beach challenges out there. Bonus points for those wipeouts in the sand. Number 10, beach biking. There sure isn't your average joyride. Fat tire bikes are built to cruise over sand. Let you take in the beach from a whole new angle.
Number 9, beach pickleball. It's no longer just a court sport. Pop-up nets, sand-friendly paddles, and softer balls are making pickleball a growing sport of the beach scene. Number 8, sand soccer. Think soccer, but unpredictable and way harder on the legs. It's a challenge to dribble, pass, or shoot in the sand, whether it's pickup at sunset or a full tournament with referees and fans. Sand soccer brings serious summer energy.
Number 7, beach flag football. The same strategy as regular flag football, but way harder to cut and pivot, of course. Sport's huge at spring break destinations and rec leagues. Plus, it's perfect for those big group weekends where everybody thinks they're still in their athletic prime. Number 6, Beach Ultimate Frisbee. With faster throws, more layouts, extra cardio, Beach Ultimate is smaller scale but just as intense as the original. Plus, nothing beats a diving catch in the sand.
Number 5 is spike ball, the viral sensation of the beach. It's 2-on-2 non-stop and requires quick reactions around a mini trampoline. It's portable, high energy, and seriously addictive. Number 4 is body or boogie boarding. A solid entry point into the wave sports, bodyboarding requires less balance than surfing, but still gives you the thrill of riding waves to shore.
Number 3, paddleboarding. Whether you're standing up and paddling or seated in a surf kayak, it's one about balance, core strength, and soaking in the view. A favorite for fitness lovers, early risers, not me, and anyone looking to mix peaceful and powerful on the water. Number 2, swimming. Just one of the most timeless beach sports out there. Whether you're racing friends out to the buoy, doing laps along the shoreline, or just diving under waves, swimming is where it's at, especially if you got a shark chasing you. At the end of the day, if you're at the beach and not swimming, are you really doing summer right?
Great question. Number 1, I'm very familiar with this one growing up in Southern California, beach volleyball. No surprise, it's the undisputed king of beach sports. Whether you're playing 2-on-2 in a competitive match or just bumping around with friends, beach volleyball brings all the summer vibes. Olympic level skill or flip-flops and fun, it's the one game everyone on the beach can rally around. But I have to say, when I'm on the court, it's always competitive.
Oh, I have no doubt about you, yeah.
Well, there you have it. Whether you're diving, sprinting, or just soaking it all in, these beach sports bring the heat and the fun.
Grab your crew, hit the sand, and see how your game stacks up this summer. Well, staying in the water, that'll bring us to this week's WTO 11 Leaderboard Poll of the Week.
Last week, we asked you, what is your go-to swim stroke? Your options were the freestyle, the backstroke, the breaststroke, the butterfly, and my favorite, and the only one I really can do, the doggy paddle.
You, the viewer, voted. The answer was overwhelmingly freestyle. More than 50% of you chose it. Second place was the doggy paddle. Third place was the breaststroke. Fourth place, backstroke. That's tough. The butterfly coming in last place. That's really, really tough.
And it doesn't surprise me that butterfly was voted dead last, because I've read that it's the most demanding coordination-wise, strength-wise, endurance-wise. And when I'm in the water, my goal is to just stay afloat and keep my head above the surface.
There you go. I did, with the Navy in early May, I did aviation swim survival training. And we were learning how to get out of a crashed plane. And we had a helmet, boots, and a flight suit on. And the topper was having to swim 25 meters in a pool with boots on. I was doing a side stroke.
Yeah.
Well, I was doing a side stroke.
GoPro.
I had a GoPro because I want to make sure it was all documented. I look good.
Right.
Yeah.
And you did. Yeah, you did, Dan.
Of course.
Of course. And with that, it's time for this week's Leaderboard Poll question of the week. What do you think is the most iconic moment in Toledo Mud Hens history?
Your options are the opening of Fifth Third Field back in 2002, winning the Governor's Cup in 2005, my friend Jamie Farr highlighting the Mud Hens during his time on MASH, or when Mike Hespin became the all-time home run king in 2015. You know, I was around there for every one of them, of course, except for Jamie Farr.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now it's named after him. To vote, simply scan the QR code on your screen right now or head to WTOL11.com and head to the sports section. As always, we'll be back here next week to break down the results.
They're the heart of the ballpark, and their story goes way beyond selfies and dugout chances. We're diving into the legacy of Muddy and Madonna. That's next on the Leaderboard.
It's that time in the show where we check in on chasing the game. On this week's show, Chase sat down with Terry Crosby. Crosby was a star football and basketball player at the old DeVilbiss High School. He played college basketball at Tennessee and briefly for the Kansas City Kings before playing in Europe for 13 years. Here's part of their conversation.
Kids have NIL, kids have social media, like you were saying. Could you imagine if you were coming up the way you did? I mean, you were a highly recruited athlete.
Thank you.
No, I mean, you were. I mean, just all the social media that would have been talking about you, or the NIL deals that people would have offered you. Could you have imagined how you would have handled something like that?
You know what? I think I would have handled it extremely well. And now, if that was the case, if NIL was out when I was playing, I'll be a multimillionaire. Seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, to kind of be an All-American in 2 sports, and I'm not talking about, you know, just in Toledo, Ohio, but that's nationally. You know, I was Street and Smith All-American in both football and basketball. Mm-hmm. That's the highest honor at that time that you can get in either sport. You know what I mean? So I am regrettable. Sometimes I'm thinking, oh my God, why didn't they have NIL when I was playing? You know, I think, and this is kind of a funny story. I think that one of the best highlights I got in my 4 years of playing both basketball and football at Developers was like a 20-second clip of me on WTOL Channel 11 with a guy called Oris Tapner back in the day. That was it. Mm-hmm. The whole 4 years I was here.
Yeah, it's just crazy how much, you know, high school sports has developed since then. Big board wasn't a thing back then. You know, social media, like I said. I mean, if you were around today, I mean, we would have probably had a ton of highlights of you.
Catch Chasing the Game on WTOL 11 Plus, YouTube, and Spotify.
And as Chase just said, you can check out the full conversation between Chase and Terry Crosby on WTOL 11 Plus. They also talk about his time at Tennessee and playing overseas in Europe.
Just released this week, BGSU's football program, led by new head coach Eddie George, is the #1 transfer class in the entire MAC. This according to 24/7 Sports. Now, this is something former coach Scott Loeffler was never able to get going, and George has gotten it done before ever coaching a single game at Deutsch Perry Stadium. In total, there are 27 transfer players coming in, led by a pair of power conference transfers in Collins Akimpong from UCLA and Arlis Boardingham from Florida. Overall, BGSU is adding 51 new Falcons to the roster this year. They kick off the season Thursday, August 28th against Lafayette.
Crazy to think that date is just a little over a month away. Going to get to watch the Falcons in action this year, like we said, under new head coach Eddie George. You know, the few times that I've gotten to talk with him, he said it was truly God's plan and fate for him to be here. Actually, when he got the call, when he was interviewing for the position to take over as head coach, he was looking for signs. He was making a cross-state trip and was actually passing through Bowling Green, Kentucky. And when he saw that city sign there, he knew he had to take it over.
It's really funny because I haven't talked to him since he's been hired at BG. The last time I talked to him, he was a speaker at Parker's Purpose in Fremont, maybe 12 years ago, more than that. And at the time, he was an aspiring actor. He was going to be in movies. He was already he was doing some dancing on stage and was also going to Broadway. So somewhere along the line, it must have been a sideline. He thought, well, maybe this is not a good vocation for me. I need to go back into something I really know and do well. So
yeah, his resume, it just goes on and on. I even asked him a little bit when I got a chance to speak with him. Do you get bored easily? Why you know, taking over a new program in a Division I, you know, college and everything. And then he said Urban Meyer called him and encouraged him to take it, who of course used to be BG's head football coach. And actually Urban Meyer will be honored during their season opener on August 28th, as we just mentioned, to recognize his upcoming induction into the College Football Hall of Fame in December. Cool. So fun to look forward to that. Well, they dance on the dugout, take selfies with fans, and bring the energy every single night at Fifth Third Field. We're talking about two of the most recognizable faces in Toledo sports, Muddy and Madonna. Muddy has been around for years as the face of the Toledo Mud Hens, first roaming Ned Skeldon Stadium and now Fifth Third Field. He's always the first to greet a crowd and get the party started at the ballpark. Then in 2003, he got some company. That's when the team introduced Madonna, also known as the Material Bird. She made her debut in a pinstripe dress and quickly became a fan favorite. Together, the two bring a lot more than laughs. They're a huge part of the Mud Hens community presence, showing up for school visits, parades, and charity events all year long. And if you were at the games in 2007, you might remember the Evil Twins. That year, the team introduced inflatable alter egos, Mediva and Medivius. It was all part of a playful storyline filled with smoke machines, spooky music, and some mascot mischief. From fun at the field to chaos with their cartoonish counterparts, Muddy and Madonna have become more than mascots. They're part of what makes the Mud Hens experience so special in Toledo.
And I'm just going to get back to training, and I'm going to utilize their advice.
Hot dogs, Coney Island, and a competitor from Northwest Ohio. While she didn't hit her goal this time, she's already hungry for a comeback. Meet the Eater next. Now for this week's Parents Shout Out.
This week's shout out goes to Riley from Perrysburg. She's a fearless performer with big dreams, even bigger energy.
Riley has been dancing at Julie's Dance Studio for 2 years now. She's taken ballet and tap and never afraid to take the stage. Whether it's dancing, singing, or performing, Riley brings joy to everyone watching. She hopes to become a Kids Bop kid someday, and with her confidence and sparkle, she just might.
He's also part of a tight-knit crew of dance besties. They are a group of 5 who have been dancing together since the very beginning. Their moms even organize play dates to keep the fun going outside the studio. So keep dancing and having fun there, Riley.
I didn't even know Kids Bop was still a thing, that this generation would know about that. Do you know about that?
I've never even heard of it.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm not up to speed on that.
It's a group of kids who make music, clean versions of popular songs for kids to listen to. So
Any activity or anything getting kids away from computer games, getting them outside or getting them with a focus on something that's going to keep them active, love it. Gotta love that. Right. Do you have a young athlete in your life? Well, we want you to show them off. Send us your best photos and videos. Your submissions could be featured in WTOL 11 sports specials and across our social media platforms. All you do is text us your highlights and be sure to include your name, your star's name and hometown. That number is 419-248-1100, or you could email us at sports@WTOL.com.
Defiance College is expanding its athletic lineup and jumping on 2 of the fastest growing women's sports in the country. Check this out. Starting in the 2026-27 school year, the Yellow Jackets will add women's wrestling and women's flag football as varsity programs. Leaders say the move is part of a long-term plan to grow enrollment and give more athletes, both local and out of state, a place to keep competing.
Women's flag football came up as an emerging sport. It is growing. It's doubling every year since the start of it. Football is one of the most popular sports in the country, so the NFL is backing this, and we want to be a part of it. The next sport that we're adding is women's wrestling. That is the fastest growing sport in women's athletics right now.
With both sports gaining traction across Ohio and the country, Defiance says it's ready to be a part of that momentum.
We're now into July, and let's be honest, the national sport of the 4th is hot dog eating, and one Northwest Ohio competitor took center stage in the most famous contest of them all. Cherish Brown from Eden made her 3rd straight appearance at the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest at Coney Island. She got down 6 dogs in 10 minutes, just shy of her goal of 10, but says she's already locked in on next year.
I'm definitely not done. I'm bummed that I had such a bad performance. That's obvious. I do think I could have done better. Honestly, I'm just glad that I didn't do anything embarrassing on stage aside from do as bad as I did. But I'm definitely looking forward to just getting better because I know that I can be better. I've done better. So it's a bummer, but it is what it is. I kind of just have to eat it and just go back and hopefully make it to the table next year.
With a little advice and a lot of determination, Cherish was already back in training and aiming to eat her way back to Coney Island in 2025. How many?
I don't know. I can't even get through 1 hot dog in 9 innings of a baseball game. So how many could you eat?
I can eat 2, but I wouldn't even try. I try not to have that feeling that you get. But people rip on it as being kind of just stupid, but it's just fun. What's wrong with something fun on 4th of July?
Well, when they're dunking it in the water.
That's disgusting.
It gets a little soggy to go down
Question,
easier.
what do you put on a hot dog? Ketchup or mustard?
That's a great question, and it's very controversial lately.
I have high hopes for you.
Okay.
I have high hopes for you.
Ketchup and mustard.
Okay.
I like both, and if we're getting a little spicy, some chili and onions.
Okay, I can't knock that. I will go with just spicy mustard
Spicy, yes.
Always no ketchup, mustard, preferably spicy with a little relish on it.
I love relish.
And I will do onions, but if my wife's around, I won't.
Yeah, it stays on your pores for a long time.
Yeah, it does.
Well, that's going to do it for another episode of the Leaderboard here on WTOL 11+. I'm Noelle Blumel.
And last I checked, I'm Dan Cummins, and from our entire WTOL 11 Leaderboard team, we'll see you next game.